Hello there guys, welcome to another of my live videos, and on this video there is lots to negotiate about. I am going to be giving you an update on some more transfer news, of course keeping you up to date of what players are linked with Manchester United. Now I have got some more additional information in regards to Paul Pogba. Also going to be giving you some latest news on Antoine Greizeman. I'm going to be giving you an update on Birmingham City's Jude Bellingham, because I have been keeping up to date with Jude Bellingham on a regular basis. But the first topic I'm going to start with is Paul Pogba. Now, according to Duncan Castles, who is a transfer expert and tends to be reliable the vast majority of the time, and is actually quite close to Manchester United, he's reportedly said that Paul Pogba is expected to stay at Manchester United for another year. The main explanation for this is due to the coronavirus outbreak and that. So this is stemming from Duncan Castles. Now, obviously, Paul Pogba has urged his agent Mini Raiola to have negotiations with the football club. Now, like he updated you not too long ago, I think this was actually over the weekend, that Ed Woodward had been back in negotiations with Paul Pogba's agent Mini Raiola to resolve Paul Pogba's future and to stop Mini Raiola from making public attacks against the football club, because obviously we do know since the turn of the year that Mini Raiola has made a number of public attacks against the football club. Don't forget he came out earlier on in the year and said Paul Pogba is not Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's property. He also was criticising Gary Neville, and Gary Neville responded to this and called his agent Mini Raiola a leech. So obviously, a lot of Manchester United fans and Man United in general were unhappy with some of the stuff that Paul Pogba's agent Mini Raiola was saying. Now, obviously, Mini Raiola did recently quote out saying that Paul Pogba is having a complicated time at Manchester United. This is what he basically said. And he also said he wants to take a great footballer to Real Madrid in the summer. Now, don't forget, revert back to last summer, Paul Pogba was relentlessly linked with a move to Real Madrid. But at least in the last couple of years, Mini Raiola has been trying to get his client a transfer away from Manchester United completed. Now, obviously, reports came out a couple of weeks ago actually, saying that Paul Pogba was interested in staying at Manchester United, and he was interested in extending his contract at the football club. And as it stands at the moment, Paul Pogba's got 2 years left on his contract. It's a year with an option of a further year, and it probably is likely that Man United will trigger that 1 year extension on his contract. Could even probably, end up signing a new long-term contract for all we know. But yeah, this is what, reports did say the other week, and I think the main explanation why Paul Pogba did say he wanted to stay at the club is because he's aware of the impacts that Bruno Fernandes has made. And, I think, from my own perception, Paul Pogba and Bruno Fernandes would make a good partnership in our midfield, because Bruno Fernandes has made a fantastic impact and he's enjoyed a fantastic start to his Manchester United career. Bruno Fernandes has 3 goals. Bruno Fernandes has around 3 goals and 4 assists so far, and he's making the difference in the team. And don't forget, he won the Premier League Player of the Month for February, did Bruno Fernandes. Obviously, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer came out himself and said that he's excited about the prospects of, Paul Pogba and Bruno Fernandes playing in our midfield together. And I think when the season does resume, that's what, is going to happen. And obviously, recent reports have confirmed that the season will resume from the 1st of June. And the season should be completed within 6 weeks. So that means next season can start on time on the 8th of August and that. But yeah, Paul Pogba has been stepping up his fitness regime. Now, obviously, other reports came out last week. Obviously, saying that, Paul Pogba is expected to be sold by Manchester United this summer. And it reportedly said we slashed around £80 million off our asking price. This is what it said. Because obviously, last summer Man United wanted around £180 million, but the figure now is totally comparison, because it said last week we was willing to let Paul Pogba go for just £100 million this summer. Now, obviously, like I mentioned, Real Madrid have been relentlessly linked with him. Obviously, there's been a lot of narratives about him possibly making a return back to Juventus, because put into the equation, Paul Pogba endured 4 good years in cheering with Juventus. but the vast majority of his performances at Man United since he rejoined have been totally comparison. PSG and also to Barcelona have been in for Pogba in the past. So since he rejoined Man United from Juventus back in 2016, he has had a long running transfer saga, but we just basically need to resolve Paul Pogba's future. Obviously, last week he was back in training, by the way. He was training indoors. He'd also had some personal coaching with Michael Carrick, the player. But Pogba's only played 8 times this season for Manchester United. He's only played 8 times. Obviously, his appearances have been limited due to his injuries. And Pogba's sustained quite a few injuries as a Manchester United player since he rejoined the football club. But he'll definitely play again for Man United. Whether he stays or whether he leaves, I do not know. So it is debatable at the moment. Pogba's 27 years of age. He's still quite young, He has still got a lot of development in him. Obviously, Manchester United paid £89 million for him. So at the moment, as it stands, he's our most expensive player. And Pogba is on around 290 grand a week at the club. So he is one of the highest paid players. So if we did get rid of him, would generate a lot of money for his departure, plus it would free up our wage bill a lot. But United fans have got different perceptions on Pogba. Some United fans would be determined to keep him, and some United fans would let him go. Because even when he does come back, he may not be able to play on a regular basis, because obviously you've got likes of Fred, McTominay and Matic that have all done really, really well, and we'd have to drop one of them for Paul Pogba to get in the mix and that. But I still believe, from my own perception, it's likely he will leave the football club in the summer. Now, obviously, he endured a very difficult time under the Jose Mourinho era because he had a bad relationship with Jose Mourinho. I think if Jose Mourinho would have still been at the club now, I think quite a few of our top players would have left because Mourinho had a bad dispute with our top players. I think Pogba would have been gone, Shaw probably would have been gone, Martial and that would have been gone. So let's just put that into the equation. Don't forget, we had Paul Pogba when he was a lot younger. So yeah, and obviously, Dimitar Berbatov, he's given his overarching view on this, and Berbatov believes, in his own perception, that Man United should keep Pogba, but he doubts that a partnership in the midfield between Fernandes and Pogba would work out, because they have actually, got similarities in style. So yeah, that's the latest news regarding Paul Pogba. So Man United could be keeping him for at least another season due to the coronavirus, but this coronavirus in general could affect a lot of teams' transfer business this summer. So, now I'm going to delve into the news regarding Antoine Greizeman. I have been reading a lot of narratives in the mainstream media today, and it reportedly says that Manchester United and Arsenal have expressed their interest in Antoine Greizeman. Reports from the Spanish press have been coming out saying that Barcelona are looking to sell Greizeman at the end of the season to generate funds. And obviously, as you all know, Barcelona are under financial pressure. Well, a lot of teams are under financial pressure due to this coronavirus. So a lot of clubs around the world are under financial pressure. Barcelona have quoted out that they would want around £100 million if they were willing to sell him. Obviously, Barcelona did purchase him from Atletico Madrid last year, and they paid around €120 million for him, which equates to around 108 million in pounds sterling. So I think actually Greizeman is the joint 4th most expensive player in the world in that. Maybe even Barcelona could consider getting rid of, Antoine Greizeman on loan, because Greizeman is on a substantial amount at Barcelona. I think he's on like 294 grand a week. And if that was to happen, that would be, a similar move, with Coutinho, because obviously he left Barcelona and joined Bayern Munich on loan. Obviously Barcelona did pay around 145 million for Coutinho from Liverpool back in January 2018 and that. And like I mentioned, I really, really rate Antoine Greizeman a lot, and don't forget, Manchester United have been in for him in the past. Revert back to 3 years ago, back in 2017. This is when Greizeman was still an Atletico Madrid player. Man United were so close to getting him, if you do remember. But of course, with Atletico Madrid at that time getting a transfer ban, we didn't obviously get the pursuit of Antoine Greizeman. But at one point, it was looking extremely likely that he was going to be coming to Manchester United, Antoine Greizeman. Obviously, up until this point, Greizeman has spent the entirety of his career in Spain. Obviously, began his career with Real Sociedad. He was at Real Sociedad around 5 years. Obviously, enjoyed 5 years with Atletico Madrid. I think he was their 5th highest top goal scorer, if I'm right. He did score 133 goals in 257 games in all competitions during his time with Atletico Madrid and that. But now, of course, he is a Barcelona player, and he's only been there one season as Greizeman, but I think he's enjoyed a very, very difficult time during his time with Barcelona. I think in La Liga this season he's played around 26 games for Barcelona, scored 8 goals, scored around 14 goals in 37 matches in all competitions. He has got a contract, by the way, with Barcelona until 2024, so he's got 4 years remaining on his contract as the player. Still got quite a few years ahead of him, he is 29 years of age, is Antoine Greizeman. And also too, this would be beneficial because Greizeman does have a good relationship with Paul Pogba because they are both French. Obviously, they both won the 2018 FIFA Club World Cup. So would you like to see Greizeman come to Manchester United? Because don't forget, Man United are in search for a striker. We are in search for a striker. Greizeman is predominantly a striker, but you can also put him on the wing. You can also play him as an attacking midfielder. I think if Man United were to get Greizeman, if we were to get Antoine Greizeman, I think, we'd probably put him in that number 7 role because we've had a lot of good number 7s. We've had a lot of good number 7s up and down the generations. Obviously, we had the likes of Michael Owen at one point, Cristiano Ronaldo. Don't forget, at one point, Memphis Depay was our number 7. Michael Owen, Eric Cantona. So we've had a lot of good number 7s over the years and that. But I think, if we were to get him in, we should give Antoine Greizeman that number 7 shirt. And I think if he was to come in, he'd succeed in the Premier League and he would complement our attacking line really, really well. Obviously has not played in the Premier League as yet as Antoine Greizeman. So reportedly Manchester United and Arsenal have expressed their interest in the player. Obviously Barcelona will want to try and recoup the £108 million that they did pay for him from Atletico Madrid. So Barcelona have confirmed they are looking to sell Antoine Greizeman. But Man United do need a centre forward. There is still deficiencies in the squad that need to be addressed. I know Odin Ighalo is doing really, really well for us. Odin Ighalo's enjoyed a fantastic start to his Manchester United career. Odin Ighalo's got 4 goals in 3 starts for the club. Also provided a couple of assists. Solskjaer did recently make an admission not too long ago saying that we could decide to make Odin Ighalo's transfer permanent. Reflecting on how good he's done so far. So you've got to say, Odin Ighalo has confounded his critics wrong because a lot of people were criticising it, saying, it was a panic buy by Manchester United. But it was good business because Man United did need to get a striker in. But it's totally comparison to our other attacking players. And like Solskjaer said, Ighalo is an option of a different type of centre-forward. His hold-up play is good. He can create very, very good chances. And he's been a United fan since he was a boy. And even before he came to Man United, he'd played in the Premier League in the past because he enjoyed 3 years with Watford, don't forget, did the player. So put that into the equation, But he's a pretty decent player, is Odin Ighalo. He's highly experienced. Like I mentioned, he is a good cover-up to Marcus Rashford. Obviously, Rashford is out with a back injury at the moment. I think he's out for at least the next couple of weeks. But you've got to say, Rashford has been a big miss. But like I mentioned, it's a 6-month loan we've got him on. Man United are paying a third of his wages. And Ighalo came out last week and said he'd be even willing to take a pay cut to remain at the football club and that. But Manchester United still need another centre forward in without a shadow of a doubt because, yes, we do. And I think, also Manchester United need a right winner. We also need a central midfielder. Even if Paul Pogba was to stay, they probably still think, Manchester United would need at least another midfielder in there. But Solskjaer has confirmed anyway, he's identified the areas where he thinks we need to strengthen up. We could even possibly try and get a centre-half in the summer, possibly, despite the fact that Harry Maguire's done really, really well. And Solskjaer believes we need around at least three signings in the summer to become title contenders. This is what he said. So now I'm going to delve into the news on Jude Bellingham. Now, reportedly, Manchester United are at risk of missing out on Jude Bellingham. The main explanation for this is because recent reports have confirmed, like I mentioned, that Man United's recent contract offer for Jude Bellingham is lower than Borussia Dortmund's bid. So this is the main explanation why we could miss out on Jude Bellingham. I actually do believe that Borussia Dortmund are emerged as the favourites to sign the player. Now, obviously, quite a few clubs have expressed their interest in Jude Bellingham. A few clubs have been in for him. Obviously, Borussia Dortmund, Man United, Chelsea. I think Liverpool have been in for him. Bayern Munich and that. So he has got a huge decision to make. I think he could end up, joining Borussia Dortmund, to be quite honest, because Borussia Dortmund have come to accept the fact that Jadon Sancho is going to leave, so they want an adequate replacement for Jadon Sancho through Borussia Dortmund. Now, obviously, Jude Bellingham is valued in the excess of around £30 million, and this is what Birmingham have quoted out that they want, but we're obsessed about the idea of signing Jude Bellingham, and he's a priority target for the summer transfer window. Now, of course, Jude Bellingham is in his first season in the senior squad with Birmingham. Up until this point, he's spent the entirety of his career with Birmingham City as Jude Bellingham. He's been a Birmingham City player since the age of 8, and obviously, progressing up the youth academy. And like I said, it's his first season in the senior squad. Don't forget, became the youngest player to represent Birmingham. Obviously made his debut at the age of 16 years and 38 days. But Jude Bellingham has been playing on a persistent basis this season. I think he's played around 30 odd games in the Championship this season. For my own perception, I don't think he's at that elite level as yet. I don't think his Premier League standard are out. I think Birmingham need to give him at least another season in the Championship to gain him more experience, because Bellingham's only 16, so he's still inexperienced at the moment. Bellingham is expected to sign a professional contract in the summer when he does turn 17, because his actual salary at the moment is only £145 a week. So, yes, I think actually, Borussia Dortmund are emerged as the favourites to sign Jude Bellingham, but we'll do everything we can to sign him. Don't forget, a lot of speculation had been fuelled up the other week, when Jude Bellingham had visited our training ground, Carrington. He obviously held talks with Sir Alex Ferguson. He also his family, was in negotiations with Ed Woodward and that. So it remains uncertain, where his next destination is going to be. But there's been a lot of talks about Jude Bellingham and that. I've obviously, I give you the news, didn't I, on the other transfers, obviously last week and that. I give you the news on Kane. I give you the news on Patrick-Emerick Aubameyang. I've already given you the news on Maddison and Grealish. So, like I mentioned, there's a lot of players on Manchester United's agenda and that. There's something else, by the way, guys, I do want to update you on. It has been revealed what Ole Gunnar Solskjaer did in Ed Woodward's. It's been revealed what Ole Gunnar Solskjaer did in Ed Woodward's recruitment presentation. Now, I don't know when this recruitment presentation was, but it's revealed what Ole Gunnar Solskjaer did. He basically, ticked the players that he wanted to, he ticked the players who he wanted to get rid of, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. And this is actually, before he got the job permanently at Manchester United. Now, obviously, a lot of players have left since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's arrival, so I've got to give him a lot of credit. He has got rid of a lot of the deadwood. Now, the first player that left under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's guidance was Marian Fellaini. Now, he actually left before Ole Gunnar Solskjaer got the job on a permanent basis and that. Now, Fellaini, of course, did endure 6 years at Manchester United. Of course, we got him under the David Moyes era for just over £27 million. Was mainly inconsistent, so we did make the right decision by getting rid of Marian Fellaini. Obviously, now he's in China. Don't forget, recently he's just been tested positive for coronavirus as Marian Fellaini, and of course he has been in hospital, but there has been quite a few football players that have had it. So yeah, we got rid of Fellaini. And obviously, last summer, Valencia left the football club after he endured 10 years at Manchester United. So Valencia was a long-serving player. Obviously, we got Valencia from Wigan back in 2009 under the Alex Ferguson era. So obviously, he left the football club, did Valencia. Obviously, we saw Ander Herrera leave last summer. He left on a free transfer, did Ander Herrera, but I think the club, did make a mistake by getting rid of him, because you got to say he was one of our best players since the Ferguson era. Bruno Fernandes is a better player than Herrera, but I think, we did make a mistake getting rid of him. It was a shame that we didn't get any money for his departure, because we let his contract run down and we let him go on a free transfer. Obviously, Darmian, of course, left the football club last summer. He went to Parma. We made the right decision getting rid of Darmian, because he's appearances were limited at the club and he was surplus to requirements. Seldom played for Manchester United, did Matteo Darmian. Looking at it from a financial point of view, though, I was very, very disappointed because we didn't even at least recoup the money that were paid for him from Torino. We paid 12.7 million for him from Torino, enjoyed like 4 years at Man United, was it? We only ended up getting like £1 million for Matteo Darmian. Obviously, you know, Romelu Lukaku left the football club last summer. You know, he went to Inter Milan, and we could say we'll regret the decision letting Romelu Lukaku go. To be quite honest with you, we will regret that decision because Lukaku did enjoy 2 years at Manchester United, and I thought Lukaku enjoyed an exceptional first season with the football club, to be honest with you, but didn't really replicate that in his second season. Now, obviously, we had to get rid of Lukaku because he lost his place in the team, you know, let's be honest about that. But in his 2 years at Man United, Lukaku scored 42 goals in 96 games in all competitions. But looking at it from a financial point of view, you know, would have been very delighted because we got £70 million for his departure. So we basically, you know, recouped the money that were paid for him from Everton back in 2017. And also it totally freed up our wage bill because Lukaku was on a lot of money when he was at Manchester United. But he's doing really, really well now, by the way, Inter Milan. And don't forget, Lukaku's recently come out and backed Solskjaer. He believes we're going in the right direction under Solskjaer. And he also believes we're making the right decisions and we are recruiting the right players in. So obviously, you know, he left. He's another player that left. Obviously, we've also loaned a few players out as well, don't forget. Obviously, you know, Chris Smalling went out on loan to Roma last summer. And I think, you know, since he's arrived at Roma on loan, he's done really, really well. And actually, you know, think that Roma are keen on getting Chris Smalling on a permanent transfer. But I think it depends on whether Roma get qualification for the Champions League. There's actually been a few clubs that have been interested in Chris Smalling. So he could come back to the Premier League, could still possibly come back to Man United. You know, Smalling did enjoy 9 years at Manchester United. So he was a long-serving player for the club. You know, but I think we could probably get rid of him on a permanent transfer, possibly. You know, obviously, Alexis Sanchez, he left as well. Don't forget, he went last summer to Inter Milan, did Alexis Sanchez. He went out on loan to Inter Milan. And Sanchez, you know, did enjoy a difficult 18 months with Manchester United. You know, he seldom played, really, because he sustained a lot of injuries. He only managed 5 goals in 45 games for the club in all competitions, did Alexis Sanchez. We got Sanchez as part of a swap deal of Mkhitaryan going to Arsenal back in January 2018, but we thought Sanchez would have been an exceptional signing. Obviously, you know, reflecting on what he did in his years with Arsenal, also played under Pep Guardiola's guidance at Barcelona when he was younger. So I thought Sanchez, you know, would have been, you know, a very, very good signing for us, but he wasn't. It'd have been nice to get rid of him on a permanent transfer, but we really couldn't, you know, reflecting on his substantial wages he was on at the club. Because Sanchez was on like 400 grand a week at Man United, and despite the fact that he's still on loan at Inter Milan, you know, we're still paying the vast majority of his wages. So I think we're going to definitely, you know, negotiate on getting rid of him on a permanent transfer. Solskjaer did say back in January, actually, that he said back in January, you know, that Sanchez would have come back to prove everybody wrong, but, you know, now that is not the case. That is not the case now. Obviously, Dean Henderson is out on loan with Sheffield United now. He is expected to come back to Manchester United after his loan spell with Sheffield United. He's expected to come back and actually, you know, could become our #1 goalkeeper. And actually, De Gea could lose his place in the team, reportedly. Because De Gea's been a long servant here. He's been here since the Ferguson era. He's now into his 9th season at Manchester United. But he has been a liability, at least in the last year and a half or so, and he's been making a lot of calamitous mistakes. So possibly, you know, Dean Henderson could become our #1 goalkeeper. Obviously, this year we saw Rojo go out on loan to Estudiantes, and of course we saw Ashley Young go to Inter Milan after he enjoyed 8.5 years at the football club. So Inter Milan have recruited like 3 of our players in that. So yeah, a lot of players have left since Solskjaer's arrival, and I do expect to see more departures in the summer. I think we're planning on getting rid of around 5 players in the summer. Obviously, giving the news, didn't I, earlier on that, you know, Solskjaer has snubbed 2 players. And, you know, even before the coronavirus outbreak. These two players were not even in the team selections, and that's obviously Jesse Lingard and Andres Pereira. Now, I've got to be honest, they are two liabilities for Manchester United, are Andres Pereira and Jesse Lingard. And like I mentioned, reflecting on Jesse Lingard's status at the football club and a number of years he's been here, he should be putting much more better performances out. Lingard's got like, is it just under 16 months left on his contract? So he's one player Manchester United do need to get rid of. And I think we also need to get rid of Andres Pereira, because he's also a liability. Lingard's found game time very difficult since Bruno Fernandes came in. He's lost the confidence of Solskjaer, and Pereira's found game time difficult since McTominay come back. Because Pereira, anyway, is behind the likes of Fred McTominay and Matic. Pereira has played a lot this season, but that's only because of, Scott McTominay's injury. So I expect them two to go. I think Phil Jones will be moved on in the summer, by the way, because he doesn't even get into the team now, does Phil Jones? Because like I mentioned, you've got Harry Maguire and Victor Lindelof that are our first choice centre-halves. You've got Bay and Tuanzebe that have just come back and they're backup centre-halves. And you've got Luke Shaw that's played as centre-half a few times, but he is predominantly a left-back. So we might as well just get rid of Phil Jones. The club made the wrong decision last season by giving him a new long-term contract. So he will be moved on with Phil Jones in the summer. So we'll get rid of around 5 players in the summer transfer window and that. But like I mentioned, Solskjaer has been now at Manchester United for 15 months. He's been here over the year. And Solskjaer knows if he's given another season at Manchester United that he's got many expectations to exceed in that. Now, I've give you a couple of the main explanations why I do believe Solskjaer should be given another season at Manchester United is because we have been in a really, really good vein of form recently. We are unbeaten in our last 11 games in all competitions, and this is our best vein of form since Solskjaer was the interim manager. I also believe recently a lot of aspects of our game have really, really improved. We're scoring more goals, we're creating more chances, our football looks more expansive, and a lot of players have improved under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's guidance. And this is the reasons why I think he should be given another season. Don't forget, Solskjaer's got us to the last 8 of the Europa League. He's got us to the quarterfinals of the FA Cup. And there's a chance of getting some silverware on the board this season. The Europa League's a chance of silverware. Another route to Champions League football. The FA Cup's a chance of silverware. And we can still finish in the top 4 this season because as it stands at the moment, we are 3 points behind Chelsea. We have enjoyed our worst start ever to a Premier League season. We all know that. But we can still finish in that top 4, surprisingly. But a lot of teams have been very inconsistent in the Premier League this season. And also, I've got to give Solskjaer a lot of credit because his approach to games have been good in this 11-game unbeaten run. He showed a lot of tactical flexibility. And, we've done really, really well against the big 6 sides this season, which is also very, very good. So that's something Man United have improved on. But when Solskjaer first came into the job, he did say, didn't he, everybody would get their chances to express themselves. And he said at the start of this season that the young players would get their chances. And I think we've got the youngest squad in the Premier League, to be quite honest with you. And, Solskjaer's had to make a lot of rotation this season, obviously, with the amount of games we've played to start with, plus with the amount of injuries that Manchester United have had. Like I mentioned, we've still got Rashford out at the moment. Obviously, McTominay just come back. Bay just come back. Dalot's had a few injuries this season. Dalot is a backup to Wan-Bissaka. Martial, I think's out injured at the moment. I think Fosu Mensah's still out. I think Tuanzebe just recently come back for us. So, yeah, Man United have had quite a lot of injuries this season. Pogba's now close to returning, by the way. So just put that into the equation, guys. So just put that into the equation. Like I mentioned, I think Man United's best formation is the 3-5-2 formation because we look more expansive with that formation. We seldom go with 3 at the back, but we mainly go with it against the big 6 sides. I think it's much better than the 4-2-3-1 formation, if I'm going to be quite honest with you. It is definitely much better than that. But Solskjaer, for me, needs time. So far, he's enjoyed 3 transfer windows at the club, and he's spent around £220 million on 5 players. And I think this summer, Man United are going to spend a lot more money. We're going to spend a hell of a lot more. I think we're going to spend over 200 million in the summer, definitely. And people are saying we need qualification for the Champions League anywhere to get, the players that we do want in. So I'm happy, so far, the players that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has brought into the football club. Don't forget Ed Woodward and the Glazers have been talking, saying they are still determined to back Solskjaer and that. So anyway, guys, drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care, God bless, and I'll see you all again very, very soon. Thanks for watching.